Hi guys, I'm back with another lecture of Principles of Management. Before we start, just a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Sandhya Rao, working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. So in this lecture, we are going to cover the human relation, behavioral, system contingency approaches. In the earlier lecture, I talked about the classical theory of management, and this is going to be the last lecture of Unit 1. So let's get started. So, starting with the human relation theory, um, it is based on the human relation, as in, we are trying to say that human relations are equally important for the organization, for the productivity, and as we have studied in the classical theory, that people were only considered to have two kinds of goals. One was the physical needs, and the second one was the economic needs. So the other social needs were completely ignored in the classical theory. But here in human relation theory, we are trying to say that social needs are equally important, and the humans or the personnel, the human personnel, need to be attended well. So this theory began in 1940s, and the attention focused on the effect that individuals have on the success or failure of an organization. So we are trying to say that other than the other factors, like let's say breakdown of the machinery or any other technical factor or factors relating to the organizational structure, individuals also do have an impact or have a bearing upon the success or failure of the organization, which means that they are an integral part of the organization. So here the chief concern are the individuals, the group process, the interpersonal relations, leadership and communication. And the key players of this theory are Mayo, Levin, Moreno. Okay, now let's get started with the human relation theory. So this theory is based on the Hawthorne studies, which was done by Elton Mayo and other people in 1924 to 1932. They have conducted a set of experiments based on which they have given their recommendations and conclusions that how humans affect the organization. So we have, or they have studied the effect of physical conditions on productivity, as in how when you keep the people in a group with their friends, have a bearing upon the productivity, or when you give them good physical conditions, let's say you give them good AC rooms and the environment is also clean, then in that case the productivity will be good or bad. So these were the kinds of experiments that they had, and they also found out that people behavior improve when you give them some kind of extra attention. So this was one of the conclusion of the theory, that as in when you give them more attention, which means that you need to recognize the social needs of people. Okay, there are certain employees who need peer recognition, or let's say they want the organization in which they are working to know that okay, they have done this particular kind of work, they need to be appreciated for their work, and they also need some extra attention. That can be in the form of motivation, or let's say any other perk which is other than the monetary reward, and many other things which we will study now. So, if I talk about the conclusions of the Hawthorne theory, then it states that other people behavior improve when you give them some kind of extra attention. This I've already explained, that if there are two people, one on which you are paying no attention at all, and there's another person on whom you are spending a lot of time, you are motivating that person, also you are constantly in touch with that person, there's a good interpersonal relation between you two, then the productivity of the latter one will definitely be more than the former one. जो पहले वाला person है, maybe उसकी productivity थोड़ी खराब हो सकती है as compared to the second person. Okay, because उसको extra attention मिल रही है. Also, the employees should be viewed as a whole person, not only as producing units. In classical theory, we have assumed that humans are machines who are responsible for the production. मतलब उनसे सिर्फ production कराई जा सकती है, वो सिर्फ एक machine की तरह treat किए जाते थे. But here in human relation theory, we are viewing humans as a person in whole, कि उनकी personality के और भी aspects हैं और भी traits हैं, and they also need to be looked upon. And here we are also saying that informal grouping of workers must not be neglected. एक जो informal grouping होती है वो भी equally important होती है employees के लिए, ठीक है? सिर्फ एक formal structure रखना, formal chain of communication will not ensure good productivity, because as I have already told you that humans have social needs. We need to make friends. Okay, we are social animals, so we tend to make friends and we tend to work in a group more efficiently. जब हम अपने साथ किसी को देखते हैं, किसी के साथ रहते हैं, फ्रेंड्स बन जाते हैं, उनके साथ काम करने में डेफिनेटली हमें ज़्यादा अच्छा फील होता है, हमारी प्रोडक्टिविटी भी इंक्रीज होती है. एंड इफ आई कंसिडर द सेकंड ऑप्शन वेयर इन यू आर टोटली नेग्लेक्टेड, जहाँ पे आपको एकदम अकेले में काम करने को कहा जा रहा है, एंड फॉर्मल ग्रुपिंग बिल्कुल नहीं हो रही है, इफ यू आर फीलिंग बैड और सैड अबाउट एनीथिंग देन यू कैन नॉट गो टू एनी पर्सन एंड टॉक अबाउट इट. अगर इस तरह की चीजें रहेंगी देन डेफिनेटली प्रोडक्टिविटी जो है वो खराब होगी. Now, if I talk about the behavioral science, so this came in 1950s, which means it came after the human relation theory. It was more scientific. It was a mixture of classical and human relation management theory. And behavioral science emphasizes the use of scientific procedure to study the psychological, sociological, and anthropological aspects of human behavior in the organization. So here we are trying to say that the scientific procedure needs to be studied to understand the complexities of human relations. Okay, so we need to understand the psychology of a person. We need to understand the sociology of the person. But for that, we need to study the, or we need to use the scientific procedures. So here, by using scientific procedure, we are applying the classical theory. And because we are using it to study the psychological and sociological and anthropological aspects of humans, so that becomes a part of human relation theory because we are considering humans here. So that is why it's a mixture of both the two theories. So here, the stress was laid upon the importance of maintaining a positive attitude towards the people and training managers and fitting supervisory actions to the situation, meeting employees' needs and promoting employee sense of achievement. So it advocates situational approach also. So behavioral theory mein, what we are trying to say is that you need to maintain a positive attitude towards the people, which means उनको constant motivation की ज़रूरत है. You need to train your employees. Also, you need to train your leaders so that they are in a position to handle the workers efficiently and effectively. Because if the leader is not good, if the leader is not capacitated, then how is he going to lead the entire group with him? Also, a suitable supervisory action should be there, okay, which is depending upon the situation, various situations. There cannot be a fit to all kind of rule in management. कि एक ही चीज को हर जगह अप्लाई किया जा सके. It's flexible. It needs to be flexible depending upon the situation. And also you need to cover the employees' needs and you need to promote their employee sense of achievement, which means if a person is doing a good thing, you need to reward that person. Also, you need to reward him in such a way that his needs are satisfied. Okay, for example, if a person is in need of psychological uh, psychological connection and you are giving him financial reward, then in that case you're not meeting the employee's needs because there is no connection in which the reward is being given to him, okay, and the need that the person has. So the reward should be according to the needs of person. So in totality, we can say that it's based on situational approach. हम situation के according चीजों को करना चाह रहे हैं. All the situational approaches slightly different. वो थोड़ा contingency वाले approach में आ जाता है. We'll study it later. So yeah, we can refer to this example. If an employee took too long to complete daily reports, अगर एक person है who is assigned with the job to complete reports on daily basis. Now, if a person, let's say, is not able to complete the daily report on time, okay, or let's say if he's taking too much time, then the behavioral management approach would try to find out the reason behind the problem, okay, and how they're going to solve this problem. Let's see. They will try to remove any distraction that interfere with the report writing. Also, they will try to set reasonable goals for gradually reducing the time it takes to write a report, and they will reinforce by giving rewards, which means कि कोई भी अगर distraction आ रही है, maybe the report is too lengthy, इसीलिए उसको ज़्यादा time लग रहा है, तो maybe या तो उनको अपना time duration जो है वो increase करना पड़ेगा, या फिर उनको अपना report जो है उसका content जो है वो थोड़ा reduce करना पड़ेगा, और maybe there are some other reasons behind it. तो जो भी distractions आ रही है, physical distractions जो आ रही है, उनको हम remove करेंगे. Second thing is we will also set reasonable goals. मतलब कोई भी unreasonable goals नहीं होने चाहिए. Which means as I've said कि अगर वो report को time ही अगर 2 या 3 दिन लगते हैं बनने में, तो उसके लिए अगर आपने 1 दिन का time रखा है, then that means it's unreasonable goal setting. So you need to set reasonable goals. The goal should be in accordance to the work which is being assigned. Okay. Second, if the person has done any kind of improvement in his work, then you should reward him so as to reinforce the improvement. Because it's human tendency कि अगर हमें proper recognition नहीं मिलता है हमारे काम के लिए, तो we get disappointed and we tend to take a sabbatical, या फिर हम उस चीज को फिर उतना seriously नहीं लेके करते हैं next time से, because हमें ये feel होता है कि मैं कितनी भी मेहनत कर लूँ, recognition तो मिलनी नहीं है, तो why to put in so much of effort. Okay. So we can summarize this theory that human relation and behavioral science theories deal with the human factors. यहाँ पे हम human factor को ज़्यादा importance देते हैं. Human relations concern on how people relate and interact within a group. So we are trying to say that how people actually interact in a group. वो group में कैसे interact करते हैं एक दूसरे के साथ. Behavioral science management is a further refinement of human relation approach. और जो ये behavioral approach है, ये सिर्फ एक extension है human relation theory की, okay, and it focus on the individual behavior. हमने दोनों ही theories में ये देखा है that we are trying to focus on the human factors, कि individual behavior of employees जो है वो responsible होता है for the productivity. Okay, now moving on to the system approach. So system is a set of interrelated but separate parts working towards a common purpose. तो यहाँ पे ना एक proper system होता है, ठीक है? In system approach, there is input, then there is process, and then there is a output. तो यही चीज को हम system बोलते हैं कि जब आप input को process करके एक output निकालते हो, हर चीज का यही system होता है, यही process होता है. So this is system approach. तो यहाँ पे जो भी हमारे इंटर रिलेटेड पार्ट्स रहते हैं वो ऑल्दो अलग अलग होते हैं, बट वो इंटर रिलेटेड होते हैं. तो कोई भी डिपार्टमेंट या कोई भी सेक्शन या कोई भी डिवीजन किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कैन नॉट ऑपरेट टोटली इन एक्सक्लूजन. देयर हैव टू बी सम काइंड ऑफ कनेक्शन बिटवीन द वेरियस डिपार्टमेंट्स एंड डिवीजन. एक इंटर रिलेशन जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, बट दे ऑल work towards a common goal. ठीक है, उनके work profile different हो सकती है, but the goal, the end objective would be same. Now the arrangement must be orderly and there must be proper communication, facilitating interaction between the elements, and finally this interaction should lead to achieve a common goal. So here we are trying to say कि ये जो भी arrangement है ये proper order में होना चाहिए. There should be proper communication in the various departments that we have, so as to facilitate interaction. एक smooth flow of interaction जब होगा तो we will be able to ensure smooth flow in the organization, and जो different elements हैं या जो different departments हैं, they will work more efficiently. System approach to management views the organization as a unified system. यहाँ पे we say that the human or the employees goal are interconnected with the organizational goals. ठीक है, तो हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को एज अ यूनिफाइड यूनिट देखते हैं. वी डू नॉट कंसिडर एम्प्लॉइज डिफरेंट और सेपरेट फ्रॉम द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो बोथ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड द एम्प्लॉइज वर्क टुवर्ड्स द गोल ऑफ ईच अदर. द एम्प्लॉइज का ऑब्जेक्टिव यही होता है दैट वी वांट अ हाइक इन आवर सैलरी, वी वांट एक्स्ट्रा पर्क्स, वी वांट प्रमोशन. And if we talk about organization, then their goal is that we want to achieve high rates of profits, we need to increase our market share. Now, both the employees and the organization work towards the goal of each other. Employees will try to work hard so that they can achieve the organizational goal. And they all know that once the organization goal will be achieved, they will ultimately get a hike in their salary or extra perks or promotion will be given to them. So both work towards the goal of each other. So that is why we say that the both are unified. Also here, we see the organization as a goal and as a part of the larger external environment. We all know that there exists the external environment, which includes political, technological, cultural environment. Legal environment is also there, and all these departments have a huge bearing upon the organization. So we can say that the organization is a part of the environment, okay? And organization is always viewed as a whole, which means as a one unit. System-oriented managers would make decisions only after they have identified impact of these decisions on all other departments in the entire organization. So the manager would never make any decision, would never take any decision considering only one factor or two factors. He will always consider the entire organization. For example, if the manager declares um, a reduction in the salary of all the employees by, let's say, 5%. Okay. Now, this decision can never come out based on one element or one factor. He would have considered many factors. Let's say there's a recession going on in the economy. So, based on that, he does not want to remove the employees, and also he don't want the employees to be dissatisfied with the organization by cutting a huge amount of the salary. So he has only reduced 5% of the salary, and also he has decided that he will not remove any of the employees. So which means that he is considering all the employees of the organization. Secondly, they must intertwine their department with the total organization and communicate with all the other departments. If there are many departments in any organization, finance department, HR department, IT department, then all these departments are different, but they will all communicate with each other so as to ensure a smooth flow. So all the departments are integrated with each other. So this is the example of system approach. So there's a finance department, production department, marketing, and HR department. Now all these departments are different and they operate independently, but they also interact with each other on timely basis and they all are interconnected with each other. So these are the key concepts of system theory. One, it is based on subsystem. That is why we had finance, HR, IT departments. Synergy, which means that all the different departments are interconnected with each other. And it's an open system. Second, it can be a closed system as well. Then system boundaries always being set, which means that all the system will operate uh, within their boundaries. Finance department cannot interfere or cannot start working in the IT department. His role is restricted to finance department only. So that is why it is a closed system. And why is it open? Because all the departments have constant interaction with each other. Flow, which means that the communication flows within the different departments on timely basis, and feedback is taken on time to time basis. So if you could see here, we take input, which means raw material and market study, and we take managerial knowledge also. These are all input, okay? Then we do the processing, which means we will start working on it. We'll start planning, we'll organize, we'll do the staffing, leadership and controlling thing. This is all process, which means ये सब चीजें जो है organization के अंदर हो रही हैं. Once it is done, we will come out with the output, which is the end product. तो यही आपका system approach होती है. There's input, there's processing, and there's output. Okay, and on every level, communication is being done. And once the output is made out, we will re-engineer it, which means this process will start again. Okay. So characteristics में we can say that systems have structure defined by parts and their composition. अलग अलग system होते हैं, हमारे पास structure होते हैं. Structure as in हमारे पास functional structure हो सकते हैं, हमारे पास area wise structure हो सकते हैं, product wise structure हो सकते हैं. Then किसी भी टाइप से हम जो है स्ट्रक्चर जो है उसको फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. टाइम बेसिस पे भी कर सकते हैं। सिस्टम हैव बिहेवियर विच मीन्स कि इनपुट को जब आप लेते हैं, उसको जब आप प्रोसेस करते हैं, तो वो डिपेंड करता है कि किस तरह का आपका इनपुट है, कैसे आप उसको प्रोसेस कर रहे हो, वहाँ पे ह्यूमन फैक्टर्स भी इन्वॉल्व होते हैं। तो सिस्टम्स हैव अ बिहेवियर एज वेल, देन दे आर ऑल इंटरकनेक्टेड विद ईच अदर. So you could see these are the features of system approach. So it's dynamic, it's interdependent, it's integrated, it's multivariable, it's adaptive, it's open system, it's a social system. ठीक है, डायनेमिक एज इन इट कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग टाइम टू टाइम, क्योंकि हमारे एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर जो हैं, जहाँ से हम इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे हैं, मार्केट स्टडी कर रहे हैं, वो चेंज हो सकती है, वो डिफर कर सकती है, इनपुट हमारा डिफर कर सकता है. सोशल सिस्टम इसलिए है क्योंकि ह्यूमंस आर इन्वॉल्वड इन इट. The input will be derived from humans, the processing will be done by the humans, and the final output will be prepared for the humans. So it's a social system. That is why it's more dynamic in nature, because human needs, human psychology is a complex process. It's a dynamic process. It keeps on changing. It's open system क्योंकि हमारा external environment जो है that have a huge bearing upon the business. Adaptive, we have to adapt ourselves from time to time basis. ये जितनी भी modern approaches है ना, ये सारी adaptive होती हैं, which means they are based on situational concept. कि situation के basis पे हमें अपने आप को change करना है. Multivariable because it involves a lot of variables. बहुत सारी चीजें जो हैं उसको affect करती हैं. 3 variables तो होते ही होते हैं, input, process and output. Again, input में भी subdivision हो सकता है, process में भी subdivision हो सकता है, output में भी subdivision हो सकता है, but they all are interrelated. Okay, so they are integrated. Then they are interdependent. Again, it's one and the same thing. वो सब जुड़े हुए हैं और एक दूसरे पे depend करते हैं. ठीक है. Advantages में we have that it aims at meaningful analysis of the organization. हम अच्छे से analyze करते हैं organization को, मार्केट स्टडी करते हैं, प्रॉपर एनालिसिस करते हैं, प्लानिंग करते हैं, ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, उसके बाद स्टाफिंग करते हैं, देन वी आल्सो गिव ट्रेनिंग एंड लीडरशिप टू आवर एम्प्लॉइज, देन वी कंट्रोल देयर वर्क. सो एक सिस्टमैटिक एंड मीनिंगफुल एनालिसिस किया जाता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का. देन आल्सो इट इंश्योर्स इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड इट गाइड्स द मैनेजर टू अवॉइड एनालाइजिंग प्रॉब्लम्स इन आइसोलेशन. किसी भी प्रॉब्लम को अलग से एक्सक्लूसिवली मत देखो, मत कंसिडर करो. वी नीड टू डेवलप एन इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच. सारी चीजों को, सारे फैक्टर्स को साथ में लेके कंसिडर करना बहुत जरूरी है. सो दिस वाज सिस्टम अप्रोच. नाउ आई विल स्टार्ट विद द कंटिंजेंसी अप्रोच. So contingency, as the name suggests, that something which is not certain and which may change depending upon the happening of a future event. Okay, contingency आपने accounts में भी पढ़ा होगा, financial accounting में भी, that contingent events क्या होते हैं? Something which may or may not happen. For example, अगर एक lawsuit file किया गया है आपके against, now it depends. It can turn in your favor also, it can turn against also. It depends upon the future event. जब कोर्ट में हियरिंग होगी विच इज ऑन अ फ्यूचर डेट, उसके रिजल्ट पे डिपेंड करता है कि एग्जैक्टली क्या होगा. तो कंटिंजेंसी अप्रोच यही है कि आप फ्यूचर के अनसर्टन इवेंट्स को कंसिडर करके चलते हैं. तो यहाँ पे भी आपका ये कह सकते हैं सिचुएशनल अप्रोच जो है उसको आप माइंड में रखते हैं. So the contingency approach to management is based on the idea that there is no best way to manage and that to be effective. So कोई भी there is no fit to all kind of a formula, as I've already told you, in management. So we need to formulate and we need to find out different ways based on the different situation. So if let's say in the present time, पहले के टाइम पे अगर कोई भी क्राइम करता था या कोई गलती करता था, तो कुछ ऐसी कंट्रीज है जहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ डेथ पेनल्टी दी जाती थी. बट एज द टाइम चेंज, अब वो चीज चेंज हो रही है. बहुत सारी कंट्रीज है जहाँ पे उसको अबैंडन कर दिया गया है. ठीक है. या अगर मैं एक पर्टिकुलर कंट्री की ही बात करूँ, तो उन्होंने टाइम के हिसाब से अपने आप को अडेप्ट करा एंड उस चीज को चेंज करा. अब वो डेथ पेनल्टी नहीं दे रहे अपने लोगों को जो क्राइम कमिट कर रहे हैं, वो सूटेबल पनिशमेंट दे रहे हैं. ठीक है, जो आपके क्राइम से कनेक्टेड हो सकती है. तो कंटिजेंसी अप्रोच इज बेस्ड ऑन द सेम सिमिलर ग्राउंड्स कि कोई भी चीज जो आप कर रहे हैं उसको इफेक्टिव करने के लिए देयर इज नो बेस्ट वे. आपको अलग अलग तरीके निकालने पड़ेंगे. कोई भी एग्जिस्टिंग फॉर्मूला कंप्लीटली किसी पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में अप्लाई नहीं किया जा सकता. ठीक है. So it emphasizes the impact of environment on organizational design and managerial style. Also here, the focus is on external environment of the organization. यहाँ पे आप external environment को consider करो, क्योंकि internal environment को आप control कर सकते हो. You have a control on the internal environment, but what is contingent? The external environment. So that is why you focus on the external environment here. And the organization is taken as a unique entity, and different organizations have different nature and face different situation. As I told you, एक fit to all वाला formula नहीं काम करेगा. एक unique entity है हर organization, और different organization में different nature की problems आती हैं और different situations होती हैं, तो उसी के according आपको अपनी solutions निकालने पड़ेंगे. The impact of environment on organization and managerial style is the major concern of contingency approach. हमारा environment के हिसाब से हमारा organization structure कैसा होना चाहिए, डिपेंड करता है. See, earlier if I talk about the classical approach, तो वहाँ पे हमारा बहुत ही एक formal structure रहा करता था, या फिर मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि horizontal structure रहा करता था. क्यों रहा करता था? क्योंकि उस टाइम का environment ही ऐसा था कि autocratic rule जो है वो चलता था, so that was suitable according to that particular time. But given the present scenario where people are becoming more and more aware and they are more conscious about their needs and rights, we cannot go well or go well with this formal structure wherein we follow horizontal structure. So we need, sorry, vertical structure. That is why horizontal structure is becoming more and more popular these days, and that is why the behavioral and the human relation theories are becoming more popular. Also, we suggest practical solution to the organizational problems. कोई भी ऐसा theoretical solution नहीं provide करते हैं in contingency approach, जो कि बुक्स में थ्योरीज में अवेलेबल होता है. एक प्रैक्टिकल सॉल्यूशन की जरूरत है जो कि एक्चुअली में उस प्रॉब्लम को ट्रिगर करके उसको सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. So this is about contingency approach, and I hope you have understood it well. If you have any query, you can rewatch the video or you can ask me your queries, and I will have those questions in my next lecture. This is it for today's lecture. Now I want to give you two questions from this lecture. So you have to explain the contingency approach and you have to explain the system approach. These are the two questions that you want to do. And yeah, this is it. Thank you.